This is the Yuba Sutter Political Spotlight, and we are live for the next 2 hours. Hey, that's going out to the guy with the GT500 Super Snake, Shelby, that I took this weekend. Well, Friday, we went out and did a little deciding who had the faster car. 5 out of 7 runs. Well, 7 out of 7 runs. We were doing 7 runs and doing the best out of the 7. Mm-hmm. Well, my vet took him all 7 times. It wasn't the best out of 7, but we still wanted to go 7. So that Shelby GT500, just a little bit too much weight to power ratio against the Corvette. Just, it has 1,700 more pounds to get rolling. Just didn't get it done. So lots of fun.
So did you do that on Bridge Street or what?
No, we didn't.
Well, you didn't do it on Fifth Street in Marysville, did you?
No, we didn't do it. I won't say
still be going.
I won't say it was legal, but I won't say that where we did it. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah. And it was just, I figured the worst case scenarios where we went and did it, it would be a sheriff's officer, Yuba County, that would get us. And he would probably look at us as 2 old guys racing their cars and be like, "Go home, guys, just go home." Because we were doing air pressure checks and everything. I mean, we were literally really getting it on. It was a lot of fun. So, but the old vet just chewed him up all 7 races.
So did you have to use a LART on him?
No.
Really?
Nope.
No LART.
No LART.
Okay.
What's a lark?
LART.
Hey.
LART. Loser attitude readjustment tool.
No, he was very, very disappointed with this Shelby, but you know what? I think he's going to do some adjustments and come back for another run.
And it may have just been the driver too,
Well, there's
Ford usually beats Chevy.
Well, but here's the deal that I got going on is, in order to make a good race car driver, you need not care, and I have that ability to shut off the caring portion of it. So, just hammer down and hang on.
That's a fact.
Liz, did you drive here really fast? Because your hair is tailing a tail. It says you were driving really fast.
I can't even hear you.
You don't have on your headphones.
No, Turn your volume up.
Yeah, she's got her headphones on.
Oh. Then she needs there.
Oh, the volume.
Liz literally walked in as the music was playing, and it looks like she drove here really fast. Or did you run up the stairs really fast?
Hey, I like that song, though. That was a cool song.
So, wow, what a week.
Hey, what a week.
And it's not over.
No, it's not.
Well, a new week has just begun. Last week ended on a really high note. Really high note.
So fill us in, Tammy.
Well, we have a new Supreme Court judge.
Oh, there you go.
Yes,
Yes, that was a good
We
thing.
may have some constitutionality for the next 20 or 30 years.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
We may be dusting that sucker off.
Oh, please, Lord.
Maybe start using that as the law of the land again. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Wouldn't it be nice if old Ruth Buzzard Ginsburg just fell asleep and
never
woke up? Wouldn't that be?
I've heard a few people say that.
That'll be
not
me.
The first one
Bless her
that I've
little
heard say
heart.
that.
I mean, she's like 68 pounds of nothing.
Yeah, asleep.
It's like I've heard the same thing said about leaking Diane. That we have the choice in this election with this California program to choose between her and De Leon.
Or Kevin Leon.
Kevin Leon.
He wanted to make his name more sexy, so he added the day. So if you're thinking about this, you would be Thomas Day Burns.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
Is that
grab you?
I'm going to stay with the name God gave me.
Is that French?
Yeah. But I've heard the same thoughts toward leaking Diane. Isn't that her new nickname? Feinstein? I heard Trump calling her that.
Leaky Diane.
Leaky Diane.
And she threw one of her staffers right under the bus.
So it looks like we have to vote for her, hoping that she joins Ruth Bader Ginsburg in the great beyond.
Or the
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I'm
the
not going to speculate on where in the great beyond.
The sad thing though is here's what we have: Di-Fi and Kevin Leon.
That's pretty sad.
Well, that's why it says in my email, California's a communist country. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where we are.
Well, if we get another Supreme Court spot to fill, we'll probably need to rely on Jesus Christ himself. But I think even then the
I don't
Democrats
think-
will throw some stuff
I think
they'll try
that-
and get to stick.
They'll impeach
Yeah,
him.
because apparently if you had a beer in school, you're a rapist.
Hey,
Whatever you were in high school.
Oh dear God,
Yes,
help
that
me.
is that is just such a slippery slope. Boy, one beer and rapist for life. Serial rapist, as a matter of fact.
what if you change water to wine?
Gang raper.
Yeah.
How quickly it deteriorates.
So lies, and more lies. Huh? That's the name of
Dirty
the game.
lies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that reminds me, since you mentioned Jesus, he said to a group of people, I think they were Pharisees, that you are of your father the devil. He was a liar from the beginning,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. He is the
Yeah, so we see the same
big
program. Nothing's new under the sun. Same program, different time.
Different time, same program. Tuned
Hey.
in at 5.
You want to know what's new under the sun today?
Sure.
You see, Judge Aronson resigned.
Oh, I did not know that.
really.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Why?
I was told on Wednesday that he was resigning.
Okay, resigning or retiring?
Resigning. Which makes no sense, right? Because he had a walk in the June primary, ran
he did.
unopposed, so guaranteed himself another 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little late because I'm trying to do my homework here, people.
Is this a little heat?
Well, now,
Is this a little heat from the grand jury?
no,
report?
it couldn't be. No.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner.
Hey, if I'm guessing here, then you know everybody out there, some of our listening audience is going, oh, well, wow, what does that have to do with anything? That's why I'm throwing that out there.
Okay, so here's what it has to do with. I have been told that allegedly the Attorney General for the state of California wants the Sutter County Grand Jury report.
Yes.
Do you think it's strange that Judge Aronson would just resign?
After running unopposed?
I think it's very
He
strange.
wants to spend more time with the family.
Well, to clarify, Sutter County does not have a published grand jury report.
That is
No.
correct,
Yes.
because they all resigned.
The grand jury resigned because,
Under protest.
yes,
because they would not publish their original unaltered report.
Right.
Their
Right.
opinion.
Yes, and a lot of pressure was put on them, and threats, the way I understand it, that you might be sued or this, that, and the other. So here
And
we
the
are
county
now.
and the county cannot defend you.
Yes, yeah. So now we have the judge who was heavily involved in that.
Who told them they could not publish the report as read?
And he when you said he got a walk in the primary.
Yes, he ran
meaning-
unopposed.
Yes, okay, so he had a 4-year job,
Yep.
but and now he's resigned. Or it's
No,
it's
he
speculation.
has,
that
no. He has resigned.
Okay.
Like effective immediately?
Wow.
Or like he put in 2-week notice or something like that.
No, I don't think he put in a 2-week.
Just said I'm done.
I think he's just stick a fork in him.
Stick a fork in him and he's done.
Well, I'm not going to miss him.
No.
So that's a
He-
fact. I'm not
he-
going to miss him.
He did release the report, right? Before he resigned.
Right.
Didn't quite go
Yeah.
there. Huh?
Well, I got some news from listening to Live with Lou yesterday. Well, I was fishing, by the way. It was a very lucrative day fishing. Wow.
Yes, very
It
yummy
was-
dinner.
It was awesome. Anyways, So Live with Lou, apparently Diamond Dean resigned also out of Gridley. So are we starting to see...
I don't think he resigned. Wasn't he removed or voted out or
he resigned
dismissed? Or
just before the city council meeting.
He resigned just before the city council was set to review his big, fat, bloated, unethical contract.
Yes. So before his worth was come under scrutiny, he resigned.
And let's put it out there. A reminder: it was like making $28,000 a month is what
Well,
his
but what
salary and benefit package.
What I
was.
kind of want to get to is maybe we're starting to see a shifting of the tides. Maybe some of the pressure that everybody is putting on and keeping the pressure on is starting to actually make a little bit of difference. I mean, it'd be nice.
And
I mean,
you know,
I know that's wishful thinking, but
I listened to my pastor this morning, and he basically said the same thing, Jason.
really,
He
Well-
said he believed that because of the pushback, that the tide is starting to turn the other way.
well, and you know, it's like, and it really is. It's like turning a ship. You know, it's not going to happen just right now. It's not like turning a car.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen right now. It's a slow process. But I believe with Diamond Dean resigning, now Aronson resigning, you know, we just got to keep the pressure on and keep the fight going. Keep clawing and pushing forward.
Now, it's very interesting. We have this Measure K in Yuba County.
Yeah.
Where they want to raise the taxes again. Okay, they've made all kinds of blah 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 about it.
Well, do you want to be safe,
You want
Tom?
to be safe, don't you, Tom?
Yeah, I'm driving down the road and their sign is yes on Measure K, keep Yuba County safe.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was terrified. I was in the mountains of Yuba County yesterday at Bullard's Bar, and I saw that sign. And I thought, oh, I better vote for that because I don't want to go up. I don't want to not be able to go fishing here anymore because I won't be safe.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah,
So when you saw the sign, did it make you feel warm and comfortable and safe?
no, it struck fear in my heart. We got to vote for that thing.
Yeah. So
You didn't get any warm fuzzies, huh?
No,
Man.
I won't until we give them more money because
No.
I'm not safe.
that's Measure K, Yuba County trying to raise the people's taxes by 1%.
I got an idea.
So
Let me
it-
keep my money. I'll buy another gun and I'll feel safe.
There you
There
go.
you
I mean, just how about that?
Yeah.
There
And-
was
and-
another program that worked like that where someone would go around to the businesses in the community and demand payment for them to keep them out of trouble, keep them
Yeah,
safe.
but the
That was
mafia
the
only
mob.
charged 10%.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It sounds very reminiscent of that.
Boy,
Give us
Kathy,
more
I think-
Godfather?
I think you hit it right on the head.
Guido can keep you safe.
Yeah.
That's the mafia program, isn't it?
Yes.
Hey, well,
And here we are, getting a mafia program from our public servants. How about that?
yeah, but
Yeah.
think about it. I mean, what is a building permit? It's extortion.
For
Yeah,
sure.
you own the property. You go and buy the lumber. They tax the lumber. Then you got to buy a building permit before you can build anything on your property. That's extortion.
Yes.
Plain and simple.
So that leads me, and we want to talk about this a little later, but we have on the ballot that Proposition 10, I think it is, has to do with rent control.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, so we want to talk about that a little later. Similar to what you're talking about right
very
now.
simpler. Very simpler. Very similar. Simpler.
So Diamond Dean, did he release the Sutter County Grand Jury report before he resigned?
He's in Butte County.
Yeah.
Keep
He
trying,
might
Bill.
have been on the
I
end,
think
you
that's
know?
classified. I was told, though, as I've been trying to just dig into this, because let's face it, you smell a skunk?
Ooh, there's more around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he resigns. Why?
Well, they were probably going to fire him. Maybe from all the heat.
No, okay, not let's
Does he
keep
get
Diamond
any-
Dean separate from
That's what I'm talking
Aronson.
about.
Okay, are we talking about Diamond Dean?
Yes, that's who you were talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Does he get any extra
Golden parachute?
annuities or something if he resigns other than being fired?
Well,
Could
he'll
be.
retire at the top of his
Yes, he
pay
will.
scale for
Yeah, so
his
he can
pension.
he can resign and retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got
Do
it
we-
ma-
do we
no
know
matter
his
what, he's
age?
got it made. He's got it made coming and going. Right?
Do we know how old he is?
No, but we can find out. Let me send out a text.
He's under 60.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the only good thing Diamond Dean did was endorse Brandon Barnes.
Oh, he did.
I wasn't even going to go there. I like Brandon. I don't like Dean.
It was so funny because I saw his endorsement on Facebook, Diamond Dean, and I was like, oh, that's what he looks like. So I shared it just like I do everybody that endorses Brandon Barnes. And a person that sits in your seat, Tammy, on Saturday said, oh, that's Diamond Dean right there. I was like, oh, crud. I was hoping I could pass that by you.
So, you know, I heard Lou Benninger say he doesn't know him from Adam, and neither do we. I mean, neither do I should say. But he is just the poster boy for the problem. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And the problem is they keep wanting to raise our taxes. I'm looking at this yes on 6 deal right here, another tax increase. So he's just the picture that or the poster boy that we happen to have in our area for the program, for the mafia program that Tammy was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not Diamond Dean's. Diamond Dean did not outline the salary. He's just the person. The system is corrupt.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's the facts.
This is not about individuals. This is about a system that is just out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like Tammy's analogy. It's turned into a mafia system.
No, the mafia was cheaper.
Yeah.
And
It's,
they protect you,
Well,
too.
I mean, they keep.
They come by and protect you.
Yeah, they actually did protect you. So they were. You got better.
So they
a
were a
better
better deal.
with the mafia, really.
You were a better deal.
Yeah.
Well, they
Because-
can't just come right out and say, "Give us more money so we can spend it wastefully and pay our top people bloated salaries
But that's what they're doing.
and golden parachute retirements."
But that is exactly
Yes.
what they're doing.
Yeah, they can't
but they-
say what they're doing.
Yes. So it's a secret. It's like the appeals to Democrats newspaper. They leave a lot out of the story. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of omission. So that's what they're doing there. They're omitting a lot of the pertinent facts.
You've got the appeal to Democrats right there, right?
Appeals to Democrats.
The front page.
What day?
No, this is actually one of my friends died, and his obituary's in here. So. But I brought it along because it has the.
Now, the front page this morning had a little clip on top about Kavanaugh being
Confirmed.
confirmed into the Supreme Court, which is going to change our national outcome for the next 20 to 30 years.
They didn't make it a headline.
No, the headline was sexual abuse has to be reconsidered or some garbage.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, what was interesting to me, there was an article in here that said wildest deficit since 1992, and it talks about the debt of the United States of America. Okay, but I thought it was worth mentioning. It says here that we paid. Let's see, it was so many billions in interest. I was looking at all these numbers, but billions and billions and billions of dollars has been paid out by the U.S. taxpayer in interest on our debt to the Federal Reserve banks. You know.
I'm curious what page you had to get to in the appeals to Democrat to find something worth mentioning. What page is that?
This page A5.
A5. Okay.
Yeah.
So not the front page.
All the way up on 5,
no.
huh?
Yeah. Well, I'm not a believer in debt. You know, So I like to. I believe in private property, getting it, and paying for it if you can.
Yeah.
You know, instead of having to be paying so much interest, usury. So, but I mean, guaranteed, I've paid a lot of usury over the years. You know, you buy a $80,000 house and it costs you $450. You know what I mean? By the time you're done.
At what point,
So-
that used to be illegal. There was a legal term, usury, and it was illegal to force that upon people. And now,
That's your average mortgage.
your average mortgage.
Yes.
Just a sign of the times. Well, you know what newspaper you can know that you get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth every time you open it?
Yes. That's the Bible.
The Territorial Dispatch.
Yes, and just below the Bible, you have the Territorial Dispatch.
The Bible doesn't come out every week, Tom.
Yeah.
No.
If you want a more
We read
modern
it- we read it-
rendition.
We read it every week, but it's not coming out every
Yes.
week.
But I'll bet it's covers pretty much every episode known to man.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
I'll give you that.
It does. It
Yes.
really does. Okay. I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent because you struck a chord right there.
Okay.
First, you said
This
nothing.
is Tammy's Tangents.
Nothing. Yes, Tammy's tangents. Thank you very much. There's nothing new under the sun. Well, in my
Ecclesiastes, I
in my
believe.
class this week, hold on, I got to grab my bag. Okay, so in my class this week, we were going over just some history.
Tell
Stop
us,
dancing in there.
tell us what your class is, Tammy.
Okay,
What
so
is the
my class on Wednesdays is called Watchmen on the Walls. And what it is, it's basically a class to talk about the proper role of Christians in civil government. And it's actually discusses their biblical role as prescribed in the Bible, what their role should be in civil government, because a lot of Christians compartmentalize and they think, oh, I shouldn't be involved in that. It's politics. It's dirty, nasty stuff. I don't want to be involved.
Isn't there supposed to be a separation between church and state?
Yes, there actually is supposed to be a separation of church and state. The state should not be involved in the church at all.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's the fact.
But
That is a fact.
But
they keep sticking their nose.
the
where
church
it doesn't
should be
belong.
involved in the state, correct?
Yes.
Yes,
Exactly.
most definitely. What they've
But
done
they would
is
have
they
you
flopped
believe it. They would have you believe that it's the other way around.
They flopped it because, yeah, where that whole term wall of separation came from was from Thomas Jefferson. And he did come up with the term wall of separation, and it was a letter he wrote to the Danbury Baptists, who were very concerned about having, in their relative recent history, come from a nation that had a state church, that you had to be, you had to belong to the state church. They told you how to worship, when to worship, where to worship, all that. They didn't want that. They wanted to maintain their religious freedom, and so they wrote a letter to Thomas Jefferson, very expressing their concern, saying, can you guarantee us this is not going to change, that we're not going to go back, revert to this system to where we had the state church? And he said, oh, sure, of course, I can. You've got your First Amendment. Congress shall make no law establishing a religion.
That's right.
So he said there is this wall of separation, and the wall of separation keeps the government out of church's business. They have no jurisdiction in that area. So that is where the term came from, and since then they've completely flipped it on its head, and it's now means the opposite of what it originally.
So it was Democrats that decided it was a separation of church and state, because that's what they do. They change the order of the universe whenever they can.
But it was
Revisionist
written.
history.
But it was written.
But here's the thing.
That was from FDR's loaded Supreme Court. Now we've got a loaded Supreme Court the other way. Maybe we can rescind some of these bad decisions.
So here's my thing, though, is how can we understand that and make that ruling when we're not all practicing attorneys? And we haven't been to law school.
Sorry, you're
Yes.
going to have to ask a practicing attorney about
Yes,
that.
you must have to ask Brad Westmoreland, because he apparently he's the only person able to understand the Constitution because he has a law degree. because none of us can understand it because we don't have law degrees.
I have
You're
Brad,
just too stupid.
Brad Westmoreland. I got him down on the totem pole with Grace Espindola.
And
they're
Stan
not
Cleveland
even
and John Buckland.
contenders in the Yuba City Council race.
Okay, well, here's the point that I wanted to get off my
Okay.
tangent
Sorry.
on. So we were talking about, of course, how significant the role was of the founding fathers' faith was in the formation of our nation and our government and all that. And we were discussing the facts that they used to hold regular sermons when they convened Congress. They would have sermons, and it was part of their normal function. This was not something new or foreign to them. Well, it was so profound, this one instance, that John Adams wrote to his wife Abigail because he was so moved by the sermon that had been presented in Congress when they were,
Yes.
Congress
Back in
was
the
called
good old
together.
days.
Yes. He wrote to his wife and said, "I never saw a greater effect upon an audience. It seemed as if heaven had ordained that psalm to be read on the morning. I must beg you to read that psalm. Read this letter and the 35th psalm to your friends. Read it to your father." And consequently, her father was the Reverend William Smith. He was a pastor. And he was so moved by the 35th psalm that was read that he just had to impress upon his wife, this was so profound, it affected me, it was so relevant to me, it spoke to me. You have to read the 35th psalm. I won't read it. I was going to, but I'm going to take up too much time. So I read
Give us
it in my
one
class.
verse out of the 35th Psalm. Just one, at least one verse. I remember that psalm. It's a great psalm. Psalm 35.
Look it up. I got to take a break real quick. Look it up. We'll read it when we come back.
Okay.
Okay.
This is Yuba County Sheriff Steve Durfer. I fully endorse Captain Brandon Barnes to be your next Sutter County Sheriff. I've worked with Captain Barnes for over 20 years. Brandon is a graduate of the prestigious FBI National Academy. He was our former SWAT commander and chief of investigations and now holds one of the highest positions in law enforcement as jail commander. He leads and manages a staff of over 80 personnel and an inmate population of almost 400. Folks, your sheriff is the top law enforcement officer in the county. Experience and character are critical. That's why 13 active California county sheriffs, including myself, endorse him. I am beyond confident that Captain Barnes has the skills, the temperament, and the vision to lead Sutter County. I believe this is the most important vote on your ballot. I encourage you to vote Brandon Barnes for Sutter County Sheriff.
Paid for by Brandon Barnes for Sutter County Sheriff 2018.
Hi, my name is Stacy Brookman, and I formally request your vote for a seat on the Yuba City City Council. I am a longtime resident of Yuba City, a retired deputy sheriff, and a local small business owner. If elected to the council, there are several items on which I will place my focus. They are economic development, maintaining proper public safety staffing levels, providing solid leadership to our city employees, continuing on the path to a solution of the homeless issue, cleaning up our rivers, and addressing the looming PERS bubble. We currently have a council that is divided, and it has been made clear this division is not good for the city. As a council member, I give you my word that I will work hard to establish solid working relationships with not only the other members of the council, but other members of the community as well. To do this, I will start day one by showing respect. Respect for the city, respect for city employees, respect for the other council members, and most of all, respect for the community. Please remember to demand respect on November 6th and place your vote for Stacy Brookman.
All right, we're back.
Okay, so
First, before you go into that, Tom's offered to read the first six verses. So we got onto the 35th Psalm because it resonated with me, because when I read it again, I was just struck how timely and relevant it is right here and now. With having just come through what Kavanaugh was put through, what his family had to endure, what he had to endure, all this persecution, I just put myself in that place where John Adams was at that time. And here, these men were up against such odds. I mean, they had come through a hard time. They had stood up to their government and just risked everything they had. Their fortunes, their, lives, honor, all that, put it on the line, and just felt so attacked constantly with all this enemy from so many directions. And when I read that 35th Psalm, I'm like, wow, this is just so relevant to what we're going through even today. So nothing new under the sun. We have our weekly territorial dispatch, but yeah, even you read your Bible and it's very relevant and timely.
Yep, I wholeheartedly agree. So I'm going to read the first 6 verses of the 35th Psalm.
Hey, Tom,
Yes.
can you pull that mic just a little bit closer, buddy?
Okay, sure can. It says,
There you go.
Plead my cause, O Lord, with those who strive with me. Fight against those who fight against me. Take hold of shield and buckler, and stand up for my help. Also draw out the spear, and stop those who pursue me. Say to my soul, I am your salvation. Let those be put to shame and brought to dishonor who seek after my life. Let those be turned back and brought to confusion who plot my hurt. Let them be like chaff before the wind, and let the angel of the Lord chase them. Let their way be dark and slippery, and let the angel of the Lord pursue them. That's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, and you could put Diane Feinstein in there, and all her cohorts that were coming against Kavanaugh. You betcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the title of that psalm is called "The Lord, the Avenger of His People," and it was a plea for rescue. It was like, come help me. I'm in these trials. I'm in these struggles. Come help your
Yes.
people. And very relevant for today. And our prayer was answered. Kavanaugh got confirmed. So it's all good.
So,
It's all
like
good.
Jason said, I think the tide is turning. The tide is turning.
And just to bring
the
some,
Democrats are screaming.
just to bring something up that's going to be happening here in about 20 minutes. If that struck a nerve with you and you're thinking, man, I wished I could do something today rather than sit on the couch and watch football or sit on the couch and do something, you listen to us. At 2 o'clock, there's going to be a life chain out on Highway 20 from the bridge, 10th Street Bridge, all the way down, I believe, all the way to the intersection of 99, and it may even go a little bit further than that.
Yeah.
And the Church of Glad Tidings has signs, and it's just, it's pretty amazing. I've participated in it about 3 times now. This year I won't be there because, well, we're on the air. But go down, see one of the people standing at the corner. They'll give you a sign, and you can hold a sign for an hour and a half. That's all it is. It's an hour and a half, but it's pretty interesting to see how that works, and it's just about trying to turn abortion around. Give the baby a chance. And, you want to talk about freedom of choice. Well, the baby has no choice and no voice.
Not when you're dead.
This is a chance for you to give a baby a voice for an hour and 30 minutes. So I think it's worth your time. If you think, man, you know what? I want to be more proactive. I want to do something. Run down there and hold a sign for an hour and a half.
Yep.
You'd be amazed at how many people are out there. You're probably going to make a new friend. You're probably going to meet somebody that you have. I guarantee you're going to meet somebody that you have something in common with. If you go down there and stand for an hour and a half and you believe in what you're doing, you'll meet somebody you have something in common with. I'm sure of it.
Yes.
So anyways, just a shout out for them. Run down there, hold a sign for an hour and a half. It'll make your Sunday, I promise you.
Yep.
This nation needs forgiveness for the millions of abortions.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And if the court is turned and they will repeal Roe versus Wade or turn it over, whatever they call it, that would be a great day for America.
Or if they would acknowledge that the court doesn't actually make law, that would also help too.
Yes. I brought that point up this morning.
That would be a good start.
That would be a good start.
Yes, but in reality, they are making law.
They're making law illegally, yeah.
Yeah, illegally.
Illegally, unconstitutionally, they are
Yes.
making law.
And I brought that point up this morning when we discussed our sermon after church.
Yeah.
So,
But until they figure out how it's supposed to work, if they could repeal that or overturn it, that would be good.
yeah.
Yep.
So,
Either figure it out how it's supposed to work or overturn that
yes.
unconstitutional judgment. So another thing we should mention before we get too far out here is that we are having a special guest at the headquarters today, and he is arriving. Well, he wants to arrive sooner than later, but unfortunately we're on the air. We're here, and as it is, Bill's going to have to leave early to go let him in. But 3 o'clock he plans to be at our headquarters. At least that's what we've advertised for him. If you want to come talk to Steve Frank, he is a candidate for the California GOP chairman. And he wants to visit our headquarters and meet with other Republicans and tell them why he wants to be the new California GOP chairman.
So right after the life chain, come over to the headquarters.
Yep, and that's located at 441 Bridge Street, Suite E. We're right over by the cookie tree. So come meet Steve Frank and hear what he has to say.
And then that should fill up your day, and it'll be time to go home and barbecue after that.
And since you mentioned the cookie tree, I had some cookies yesterday at the New Earth that were fantastic.
Really?
Ooh. Do they have a bakery?
I guess they're baking them there. I mean, these were not Keebler cookies. You know?
They weren't made by a bunch of little elves.
So they have them in their window case.
Ooh,
you know.
Good cookies.
I was pretty impressed with their cookies. Yeah.
Awesome.
So there's some free advertisement for New
There you
Earth.
go. All right. So what else do we have other than our candidates?
Well, I went to the Yuba County debate
Okay.
on Wednesday night in Marysville. So now, I just want to throw this in there, and the way I understand it, if Measure K passes and they get a 1% sales tax, then in Marysville, they'll go from what they are now, like 8.5% to 9.5%.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be right? Because they're in Yuba County.
Yeah, that's true.
So they're going to have now, I talked to a good friend of ours, Doris.
Mm-hmm.
She said she was in Canada a few weeks back.
Mm-hmm.
And she said everywhere she went in Canada, 15% is tacked on to everything purchased.
Wow.
So
It's the way democracy works.
yeah, there you go. So anyway, we'll give a brief recap of the meeting that took place. It started with the county supervisors debate, and I'm just going to give a little short expose of what I thought when I was listening. Okay, so they all started. The appeals to Democrats sponsored the event, so I wrote down all softball questions. Okay, so each candidate gave their opening statement, and Joan Saunders, I just put boring. Okay, Andy Vasquez, I put number one issue, public safety. I wish I had a dime for every time I heard that one.
Me and you both, buddy.
Yeah.
Then you wouldn't need
Yes.
no dank K.
Yes. John Mistler.
I wouldn't need a job.
John Mistler, he said, the voters were denied due process when they played their little shenanigans. The county supervisors, I believe it was, or the water agency, or a little bit of both, and they were denied the chance to vote. Okay,
Yes.
in Yuba County. So, and one of his number one priorities is police and fire. Okay, Randy Fletcher, he talked a little bit about cell towers. And the fact that he was a former police officer, and he said he was endorsed by Gallagher and Nielsen. That kind of
Really?
threw me. That one threw me off a little bit.
Could he prove that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just
I
saying.
think Randy was a reserve officer.
Yeah, right. So he was a former reserve police officer, And I don't know if he can prove whether he was endorsed by Gallagher or Nielsen or not. But, you know, these guys, they throw out a lot of stuff. Okay, and Alton Wright, he polled the audience on if he wanted to see how many people knew who he was. Okay.
So by a
Do you
show
want to
of
see
hands,
if the audience knew what he was? Is that
Who
what you
he
said?
is.
Oh, who he is. I
Yeah.
thought
Why
you
did
said
he forget
what
who he was?
He just wanted to see if the people knew who he was.
so by a show of
So-
hands or what? How did
Yeah,
that
by
go?
a show of hands.
Whoa.
So, anyway, then they had a few questions.
I wish somebody would have stood up and said, "Yeah, you're my dad." and you abandoned me when I was a child.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
So then they went with a series of questions. One of the questions was, are you going to continue to run Yuba County into the ground? That surprised me that they would put that
Really?
question. Yes.
They let that question
Yeah.
through, huh?
And
Yeah.
that was even in the appeal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was in the newspaper? Okay.
That's awesome.
And here's John Mistler. He says, now remember, these are just my notes, so I just wrote down what I felt like writing at the time. He said, use prison crews to clean out these drainage ditches in the county. I thought that was a good idea.
Who said that?
John Mistler.
Oh, no wonder it was a good idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Randy Fletcher, I put down, he thinks everything's great and loves all the wonderful employees at the county.
I wish Randy Fletcher would have just came right out and said, "What is it going to take for me to buy with water board money to get you to vote for me?" just threw it out there.
Yeah, there you go. So Alton Wright, he said he's not responsible for running the county into the ground. And I wrote down cannabis. I don't know why I wrote it down. I just wrote it down. Okay. Okay.
Because you thought he was smoking some?
But he did say this that was good. He says it's not about county employees. It's about the people, Randy.
Ah,
So I thought that was good.
that is good.
And then Joan Saunders, she said, don't hire people in the top salary positions. Start them at the bottom.
Well, that is good
Okay.
advice.
And
Something
So-
that you Sutter County could take.
Yeah, Sutter County needs to hear that advice.
yes, they had a question on Measure K, you know, and of course, Mr. Fletcher said he's against taxes, but we need the money. Right?
But we need the money.
What a
Yes.
way to be on both sides of
Yes.
the fence.
I'm against taxes, but we really need the money. Okay.
I don't need the money, but I sure could use it.
Yeah. Saunders. Oh, Andy Vasquez says we need more money.
Did he
There's
say
not
how
enough-
we were going to get it?
Not enough of it. Well, they're hoping on
Well, there's never
Measure
enough
K.
of it. So he's a Measure K supporter?
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
They're all Measure C.
Yeah.
Yes, they all voted unanimously.
They talked about the homeless situation. Question number 3 had to do with the homeless. And I wrote here, Fletcher, doing a great job, and one of the best in the country. He is proud of all the progress.
God bless everybody. Steve Frank, if you're listening, I'm on my way.
Okay, Bill's checking out.
Hey, Bill,
Hold on. Jason has a question for you here.
a key
Oh,
to the station.
yeah, we need our key to the station.
Okay, and have him write down the
I got it.
password. Oh,
I got it.
All right, we're good to go.
Okay,
We're
little,
good to go.
Bye, Bill.
Alarm code.
little housekeeping.
See you in an hour.
All right.
We'll be there.
So another question was brought up is why do we in Yuba County have one county employee for every 70 people? Yeah.
Wow.
And
I need keys to
let's see, we had John Mistler says we need to get rid of non-essential employees. Huh. How about that?
What a
He's
concept.
like the
What-
only one that's talking any sense.
Yeah. And Randy Fletcher said, everyone's doing a great job.
Oh, yeah.
The supervisors are all great. We're all great. So
I'm okay. You're okay.
Yep.
yeah.
I'm okay. You're okay. We're okay together.
Then they talked about a Marysville bypass, and boy, they need it. And I will agree with that.
Yeah, but who's going to pay for it?
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm done paying. I'm done.
We already have paid for it.
Okay.
They just got to allot the money, you know.
Sure.
Maybe take
you
it
believe
from
that
the
money's still
welfare
there?
state.
You believe that money's still there?
Oh.
Come
no,
on.
But I mean, they're getting enough on a daily basis.
Well, I'm just
Jason.
saying we paid for it probably 3 times over, and there
Yes.
ain't enough money there to do it now.
Yeah. So they talked about running truck routes through Marysville. This was they went to Marysville City Council
Oh, okay.
afterwards. The next debate was for the City Council of Marysville. And they talked about the traffic in Marysville because it is pretty horrendous.
Oh yeah, I
Yes.
came home that way from my meet up the other day.
Yeah, from the race.
From the race, and yeah, I sat in traffic for like almost 30 minutes trying to get into Marysville and then get around to the Fifth Street Bridge.
Yeah.
Unbelievable,
It's crazy.
nuts.
Now, I did notice one good thing on the way out to the station this morning here in Linda, Mount Huth, the little dirt mound. They graded the whole side, that whole right side of Simpson Lane. Did you notice that? Or were you going too fast?
I don't drive that fast, but no, I didn't notice. I was asleep at the
Did
wheel.
you notice that?
I did not, but I am paying close attention because we squawk about that.
Nobody noticed, huh? Yeah, it would be the whole south side of Simpson Lane along the orchard there. It's all been graded. You know, you could have slipped in a 3-foot rut there.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it's all been graded smooth. So
Alrighty then.
maybe somebody's been listening to us complain about that.
Oh,
Maybe they use waterboard money to get them a vote.
I mean, all it would take is a few passes with a road grader, right?
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah.
No, that's not really rocket surgery
Yeah.
there to figure that one out.
I mean, I think I could have done it or you could have done it with a road grader. It might have took us a while to figure out the little handles and stuff.
Exactly. It would have took a minute, but I can operate anything if it's got wheels. I'm convinced. It just takes a minute.
So somebody did that.
Or tracks.
So I was going to say,
All right.
praise
so,
the Lord on that.
real quick to City Council before we go to break for Yuba City City Council is One Eye Blind Media has put up a survey monkey. Survey
Survey monkey.
Because there's so many people running for City Council that he couldn't just do a normal survey on Facebook. So he put it up on his Facebook page. Now, I got to admit, I'm really happy with Chris. Chris isn't a real confrontational guy. He doesn't mind it, but he doesn't go out looking for it.
Yeah.
And he has taken a lot of flack for this one.
He's pretty even keeled.
Yeah, he really is.
Mild mannered.
Uh-huh. And I'll tell you what, he has taken a lot of flack for this and taken a lot of crap for this one.
For putting up a poll?
From
For
who?
putting up a poll. Just people on Facebook. I forget the one lady's
Real
name.
people or fake people?
I don't know, but people on Facebook, they're all fake if they're on Facebook. If I can't look you in the eye, you're a fake person. Sorry, that's the way it goes. Anyways, right now I just want to go over it real quick because right now Mark Boomgarden is in the lead with 70 votes. Next is, of course, David Shaw with 55 votes. And then what is really interesting here is Suk Sadhu and Stacy Brookman, 1 vote separates them. 42 for Stacy Brookman, 43 for Suk Sadhu. The others are less than 20 votes. Actually, the rest are less than 15 votes, except for...
Give it to us. I want to know how low on the poll they are.
Okay, so in order from the highest to lowest, Mark Boomgarden's leading. 70 votes. David Shaw, 55. Suk Sadhu, 43. Stacy Brookman, 42. Next is John Buckland with 13. Next is Brad Westmoreland with 12. Next is Stanley Cleveland, 11. And then Daria Ali with 7.
what about Grace? She didn't even make it.
No,
A
Grace
zero?
Espinola is there. Didn't I announce
No,
her?
you skipped her.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then she has 17.
Oh, 17.
So she's up there above. What's funny is almost everybody's above the incumbents except for Bradley Westmoreland and Daria Ali.
Yeah.
So, I mean, wow. And, Bradley Westmoreland is above the incumbents. So, yeah.
Yeah. So
See,
to me, Bradley Westmoreland and Grace Espindola are on the bottom of my totem pole. So that would leave the incumbents stuck down in the mud.
Yeah, they're
I
not
mean,
even
they're
on
underground.
They're not even on the totem pole.
Yeah.
They're-
These guys are in the ground.
which is really, really awesome.
They're dead and gone.
Which is really, really awesome because the fact is what Chris is taking a big beating on about is nobody looks at Facebook anymore, yada, yada, yada. But if you look at the sheriff's race in this that he put up, you look at the superintendent of schools race, I mean, you're talking 600-700 people have voted on him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that isn't a lot. But the fact is, it's the only poll that's out there right now that is doing anything. It's the only poll that I've seen anywheres. And
It's the only poll that I would trust.
well,
You know?
but here's the thing is I mean, right now you've got the city councilmen, the two incumbents aren't even registering on this list. It's
Yeah.
awesome. If I was them, I'd be running scared, nail biting. You know, I'd be nervous as all get up.
What I like is apparently what we've been saying is having some kind of effect and resonating with people because we wouldn't steer you wrong. We did some really hardcore vetting of candidates and we separated the wheat from the chaff and we presented to you our 3 candidates who could cut the mustard, and they were Dave Shaw, Mark Boomgarden, and Stacy Brookman.
Yes.
And guess what? They're in there.
Yes.
And those are your guys. Those are your guys that are going to get it done and make a change for this city, make a change for the better and for the good.
Yes. Now, I predicted that Suk Sadhu would take 3rd place, remember?
Yep.
Okay. So he's running neck and neck with
He's
Brookman.
running neck
so
and
I
neck.
hope I'm wrong because
Yeah.
he's a flaming left-wing Democrat.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Well, I
So-
hope you're wrong too, but I honestly, you were right on the money. I mean, you hit it right on the head. So
because I believe there is the Indians will tend to vote for the Indians.
Well, I think it's more the Democrats
Cowboys
are going to
will vote
vote
for
for the
the
Democrats. Yeah. Well, there's only 2. Let's see. Well, you know what's really funny is there's a campaign person. What do you call those people who run campaigns?
Consultants.
Okay, campaign consultant out there
Gold
who's giving
diggers.
some really bad advice. I mean, I was shocked when I heard that this advice was apparently she's advising her candidates that whatever party affiliation they have, they should switch to decline to state because you don't want to be associated with your party. That is the worst advice. I mean, right before you file as a candidate, you're going to switch your party. That is the absolute wrong thing to do, not the thing to do at all.
Yeah.
And so,
That's like trying to cover your past.
yeah. So anyway, that's what happened with this Grace because she was the other Democrat that I knew of that was running. Well, apparently she got that really bad advice from her campaign consultant and switched her party affiliation to decline to state. So if anything, it's only going to lose her some Democrat votes if they don't see that she's a Democrat. Well, Suk Sadhu is a Democrat, and he's the only other one that, Brad Westmoreland, he's a Democrat.
Yes.
well,
But
So you have
You
those-
say lose her? Did you say lose her or lose her?
Lose her some votes
Oh, I
from
thought you
Democrats
said she's
if they
a
don't realize.
loser.
No, well,
Oh.
I've never,
If the shoe fits.
I haven't had enough.
Well, she's been a loser
Exposure to
in
Grace.
every race so far. I did happen to see, on the way out here, it used to be Buttacavoli Industries. The building there is
Yeah,
now a union hall.
It is that big green beautiful
Yes.
building.
Yeah, it's got a big union sign on the front facade now. but
Yeah.
it
has Grace's sign in front of
Grace's sign there.
Yeah, she's running for Yuba City, but her sign's in Marysville.
Yeah, she's in bed with the union so deep. They'd also had that yes on Measure K sign out there, right, and keep Yuba County safe. Now, I've also been hearing a lot of advertisement this week to vote no on 6 on the radio. And have you been hearing that too, Liz? Mm-hmm. And who are the endorsers? The Highway Patrol, the first responders,
Teachers union.
Yes, unions. Also, they got nice little organizations they probably just created for this campaign.
Oh, we are over. Whoops, we got to go. Sorry. We'll be right back.
Check out the Territorial Dispatch. Papers are weekly and can be obtained free at distribution or by mail through subscription. It's only locally owned and operated newspaper in the region. The paper is the rest of the story. And also check out the E-Territorial. It's an online version of the Territorial Dispatch which features local news and events for the Yuba Sutter, Colusa, and Nevada County areas. You'll also find daily and breaking news updates, current traffic, and weather information, along with a calendar of local events. Visit the E-Territorial at eterritorial.com.
My name is Mark Boomgarden, and I believe in hard work, honesty, American values, and service to the community. Those are the values that have guided me in a lifetime of serving Yuba City as a firefighter, fire chief, businessman, and community volunteer. Those are also the values that have led me to run for council. This is not about fame, climbing the political ladder, or for money. At least, it's not for me. That is why I will not accept any benefits and will donate 100% of my city council pay to local charities. I will tackle wasteful spending, make fighting crime a top priority, bring new focus to dealing with the growing homeless problem, ensure better disaster preparedness, and invest in fixing our roads and water infrastructure. This is our city, yours and mine, so I will always listen and be accessible to you. That's why I've put my personal phone number on all of my campaign material. To learn more, visit markboomgarden.com. That's Mark with a C, Boomgarden with 2 O's and 2 A's. This is Mark Boomgarden, and I approve this message.
Attention Yuba City voters. In just a few short years, the City Council has voted to increase our water, sewer, and garbage bills, and even started discussion on a sales tax increase. It's an out-of-control money grab. I'm Dave Shaw, a veteran, small business owner, and community volunteer, and I'm running for Yuba City Council. As a local resident for over 30 years, I'm the CEO of Shaw & Associates and an expert in wealth management, taxes, and accounting. I was voted Yuba Sutter's best financial advisor, and my firm was named the 2017 Small Business of the Year. As your councilman, I will move funds from administration to public safety and road repairs. I'll revisit the water and garbage rate increases, and I'll stop the dump because residents do not want a transfer station in the middle of town. And I will fight to stop giving pensions to council members. Remember, vote Dave Shaw for Yuba City Council. Proudly paid for by Dave Shaw for Yuba City Council.
I think we're almost there.
Welcome back to the Patriot, 1410 AM and 104.3 FM. That's Bill's job.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what, though?
Love that Dr. Hook.
Check it out. I'm back. I haven't screwed up once today.
Wait a minute. How can you say that?
Because last week was just a sham show. I mean, it was all bad.
Okay, but you did screw up. You mean like from now on you're not going to screw up?
When did I screw up?
Not today.
When we
Oh yeah, when we ran over. Well, that was.
remember the ooh.
Thanks for that remembrance.
Boy,
Hey,
you got a short-term memory, that's for sure.
yeah,
man.
it was like 5 minutes ago.
Well, I was thinking more of my computer and
Yeah.
the sounds in and sounds out, not the big elephant in the room one. I was not going to go there, but
Well, you have been doing a really good job with the soundboard.
sure, thanks.
Yes,
Thanks for
excellent
that.
job.
Yes.
Thanks.
Time watching, not so good.
Hey, you know what? Whatever.
You know what?
I'll try
Hey,
to memorize next time.
Memorize.
let's have some fun right now.
I thought I was.
We're
but
all
okay.
game.
Okay, so we're going to have fun.
Yeah.
You know
Uh-huh.
what?
I've been having fun
Yeah.
since I got here.
I cannot stand a liar or a cheat. Okay?
I'm not having fun.
Oh, I think you might have fun
Yes.
because I'm
so-
going to bring something to your attention.
Okay.
I would have had fun if I could have made it to my potty break, but I didn't get my potty break.
Okay, well, you can check out. Do you need like a bucket?
Yeah. Actually, I got a cup here.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, enough
Let's
room.
not look
TMI.
past the,
TMI.
TMI. That's what I thought.
He's
too.
on the other side of the window. We're just going to pay attention to
Yes.
each other over here.
Okay, so tell us about this liar.
Liar to
Liar,
cheat.
liar, pants on fire.
Yeah, his name is Tom Reusser.
Okay.
Oh.
Just throw that out
Okay.
there.
Yep. And you know what? He can come at me because I am loaded for bear.
Bring it.
This guy says I am a lifelong Sutter County resident and attended local schools before graduating from CSU, Sacramento. He got a bachelor's degree. He furthered his education by obtaining his master's degree from the University of Laverne. I have been in education for over 21 years and truly want what is best for our children. My strong family values, the education of our children, and fiscal conservancy are at the forefront of all of my decisions. Paying attention? Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like gobbledygook.
During my career in Sutter County, I have worked in both the smallest, Winship School District, and the largest, Yuba City Unified School Districts. I know how diverse the needs of individual districts are, depending on their size, and will make sure they get the assistance they need to be successful. These experiences have provided me with the necessary skills in managing budget, staff, and programs. My highest priority as superintendent will be to restore the woefully depleted ROP and career technical education programs. Many of our students in Sutter County schools are college bound upon graduation, but many, for a variety of reasons, are not. These ROP programs, along with a strong educational foundation, start all students on a positive path for the training they need for success. You know what, Mr. Reusser? I have just about had it with you.
Uh-oh, she's pulling something up on her phone.
So here's the 411.
Okay, bring it on down.
Let's have it.
Liz.
Let's hear it.
Sutter County Superintendent of Schools candidate Tom Reusser failed to renew his teaching credential and administrative credential. Both credentials are required to run for the office of superintendent, and both expired on June 1st, 2018. 4 days after they expired, in the June 5th, 2018 primary election, Mr. Reusser was the second highest vote getter and is now on the November election ballot against the incumbent, Dr. Val Dillon. He finally renewed his teaching credential effective August 22nd, but still still does not hold an administrative credential according to the Commission on Teacher Credentialing. You want to verify this claim? You can just put in your old search bar, ctc.ca.gov, click employers, click search for an educator, click public search, enter last name Reusser, choose Reusser Thomas. To verify that Dr. Baldillon has her credentials, follow the same steps, but search name Shergill. That's S is in Sam, Hergill dash Dillon, Balgender. Mr. Reusser is currently employed as principal of a middle school with the Marysville Joint Unified School District, a position that also requires both active credentials. Prior to taking his current middle school job, in May of 2017, Mr. Reusser was fired as the principal of River Valley High School in Yuba City.
Yeah.
We did ask him about that in the interview that we had. We asked because we had heard the rumor that he was fired, and he used the word dismissed.
He, if I'm remembering correctly, because we were going to have our meeting in Yuba City. We moved it to Tom's office.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes.
And we asked him specific questions. The guy is a scam. He said, Tammy Reichard, when you asked, why were you fired from River Valley High School? He said, the administrator, who would be Doreen Osumi, and he had fundamental different philosophies. This is crap. We are not vetting our candidates. I had a huge war.
Well, we are.
So I do remember him saying that. He said it was kind of political.
Uh-huh.
Yes, between him and the lady you just talked about. So I do remember him saying that. So, but you know my stance. Abolish the whole program. I think that program is a ripoff for the taxpayer.
But Thomas, it's not going to happen. We've got 30
I know.
days.
I'm just giving my opinion. There it is. You know.
I hear your opinion, but we've got 30 days to the election. And the fact that we can have people that are currently not holding the proper credentialing. On Thursday night, I went to one of my mini meetings and was told, you don't need to have a credential to run for superintendent of schools. I said, how about you need a credential to be a principal at Anna McKinney School? I'll tell you what, if my kid is in school at Anna McKinney and anything goes down, hell to pay.
Well, in my position, I'm required to maintain a certification. And I am aware of my deadlines to keep that active. And I do what's required of me to keep it active. I have continuing education units that I have to accumulate, and I have to accumulate so many by a certain date, and then I file my renewal, and I get renewed. So it's my responsibility.
Yes.
It may be a responsibility of my employer to make sure that I'm credentialed, but more importantly, it is my own individual responsibility to myself. That's what a person is first and foremost responsible for yourself.
So I'm going to ask you a two-part question.
I get the next one.
Okay, mine is two-part, remember.
I got you.
Okay. Tom Reusser is running for a position, and he did not bother to renew his credential. He essentially is running for a position that will oversee 1,500 teachers, educators. That is part of his job, but he can't even keep
Social
track of his
engineers.
own house? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. That does speak volumes right there.
So my second part to your question is, when you go to renew and keep current, what is the procedure?
The procedure is I have to keep track of my continuing education units. I add them to this website. It's iccsafe.com or .org, sorry. So I go into ICC and which is International Code Council, and I enter my eligible credits. And depending on how many certifications are up for renewal, I put in my required number of credits that I've earned. And then when I file, it's really simple. You click renew on that certification, and your CEUs are already there. You pay the money, and ba-bam, there it is. Instantly, it's renewed, and it's online, and it's super easy.
I get the next one, Tom.
I know. I don't have a question.
Okay.
I'm just making a statement. The number one thing is paying the money.
Well, there's always the paying the money. You always got to pay the money.
I got a story about that later, but that'll be for another time. Anyways,
Here's the point. So it's super simple
Super
to
simple.
keep your house in order.
Yeah.
We're asking, this guy is applying to oversee 1,500 teachers, and he cannot click? This is bad.
Well, I don't know what it is for a teaching credential, but I can tell you what it is for a certified building inspector. It's pretty easy.
The same thing here. All he had to do, I've done my homework here, is to click on submit and pay his fee. That's it.
Yeah.
Pay his tax. Hey, contractor, we got to send in our $450 and pay the man.
But Thomas,
That's the biggest thing.
I know.
Can I get my turn now?
Okay, you're
Yes.
giving me a Tomplex right now.
Complex.
I've never had one, so can you tell me what that is? It's Jason's turn. I'm going to let you.
Okay, Jason, hit it.
The point I want to make is I'm glad that you went there, because the fact is any recertification that you do is not that hard. Okay? And there's always grace periods. Always, before they say that, okay, you don't have a license anymore. You know, you there's a grace period. 6 months, a year, something, there's a grace period, right? If he's willing to neglect something that is that easy, what is he going to neglect whenever it comes down to something that's hard to do? And this affects him personally, it affects his family, it affects his income, and it affects his earning ratio. It affects everything in his life negatively. What if it doesn't affect his life negatively, but it's just a decision that needs to be made that's a tough decision? Come on, folks.
That's a really good point, because I've worked with people that if it's something that they don't want to tackle, it's going to be a difficult task, they'll put it off.
Exactly. And that is something that doesn't even have an effect on them. Mm-hmm. This has an effect on his earning ability to support his family. So any kind of man is going to go, okay, I got to get this done. I need to go on the web, click here, click there, pay my money, and get this done to take care of my family. Okay, if you're not willing to do that, it's the same deal as sitting across from a table from me and saying, you know what, he's not my friend anymore. He's not helping me on my campaign. Jim Whittaker's not helping
Which
me
is
on
what
my
he said,
campaign.
he said about Jim Whittaker.
He's not doing that. He's not that, you know. Whenever he could have looked you in the eye and said, you know what, he's my friend. You can't control what your friends do. He's my friend. He's not going to stop being my friend. I don't agree with it, but the fact is the guy's my friend. How simple was that? If he'll lie to you about that, what's he going to lie to that's hard to explain? Mm-hmm. You know? So that's a second one. But I mean, seriously, folks, if you're not willing to look out for your family on something that is that easy to do, I promise you that there's going to be something that's harder and more of a challenge to do, other than click on a few links and pay a little bit of money, that you're going to neglectfully put aside on something that comes up. I promise.
So you know what I remember most about that meeting?
What's that?
I remember all that stuff you guys just talked about.
But he's a swim champ.
I remember that.
I could care less about that. But I remember when he showed up, he was saying, "Oh, I just got back from like 10 days on where we rented a house and took a vacation.
Lake Tahoe.
And so I'm just getting back from that." And I thought to myself, must be nice, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're living the dream, man.
When have you taken 10 days off, Tom?
Not in a long time. I did take 5 days off to go up to the Pendleton Rodeo.
And whenever you got
And it's
back,
probably been about 3 years since I took it.
And whenever you got back, how hard was it to catch up?
Yeah, it's hard. I was behind when I left, so
it didn't get any better.
But we're pushing every day.
I know, but it doesn't get any better.
No.
And that's the whole issue is most people, whenever they take time off in the private sector, it builds up and piles up on them.
Yes.
Even in the public sector. So now I'm giving everybody pay attention because I'm about to give a kudos to some of the city people out there. I know whenever Tammy takes a vacation of a few days, and what she does, she has to work a little harder and push to get caught up so she can take time off so it doesn't get pushed off to anybody else. Now, that being said, it can be pushed off to somebody else and somebody else can do it. But she's not that kind of person. She's like, I'll take care of my own work. But the fact is anybody who can take 10 days off in a row and just, oh, well.
Sure. Yeah.
I really, really kind of wonder about what kind of work they do because
it's a gravy train, man.
I guarantee you ask Mark Bloomgarden, I guarantee you ask Dave Shaw, I guarantee you ask Stacy Brookman, they've not had a 10-day vacation in a while. I'm just guessing. I can't speak for them, but I doubt that they've had a 10-day vacation in a little while.
I was in the bread business for 20 years, and I think it's pretty common for most businesses that when I took a week off vacation in the bread business, and they had a relief driver run my route. When I come back, it took me a good 4 or 5 days to straighten it out, and
they were glad to see you, weren't they?
Oh yeah, well I mean, I might come back to all kinds of problems.
Yeah,
but no matter what, when you came back, you had a lot of stuff to straighten out. Not just the fact that your seat was moved back, because you're only 5 foot tall, but.
Well, I can guarantee
it was big issues.
Whenever I get a new building inspector, and it usually happens around final time or structural frame time that I get a new inspector because my normal one goes on vacation. Oh boy, what a crap show that is!
Yeah,
trying to bring him up to speed and get him to understand what's going on. Oh,
yeah,
it's not good.
It doubled your work. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
So back to Reusser.
Okay, sorry, I'm getting off beat, but.
I was told you don't have to have any credentials to run for superintendent of schools. I did my homework. That is not factual.
Really?
You do.
I would hope so.
Yeah, but it's just like our friend, Dr. Dennis Hawk. I mean, he's a sergeant, and he's running for sheriff.
Well, I would hope, personally, that anybody that wants to run for sheriff could run.
We had this discussion last week.
I don't believe you can. I believe you have to have at least a peace officer standard of training. I think you at least have to have that. I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
You're right.
I just know that you can really want to be sheriff and quite possibly could be sheriff.
But at the same time, I'll bet you there's a lot of people with no experience as a sheriff could come in and do a better job than a lot of sheriffs are doing.
I think if you could write a budget, you could be.
I think so.
I think if you could write a budget,
I think I could make a good sheriff.
Well, then let's run you.
I'm too busy right now.
Oh boy.
Maybe later.
Maybe in a few years.
Yeah. But I truly believe that. It's just like Donald Trump. Okay, huh?
Don't.
He
are you
didn't
going
have
there?
Yeah,
he didn't have any political experience, did he?
He's a businessman.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying?
I
So
don't-
he proves my point.
Not with the sheriff.
He's jumped into the presidency of the United States, and he's making things happen more than any president has done. Made a show of things happening. Donald Trump is making things happen.
Are you at the
Yes.
station yet?
I'm just. I'm.
Are you at the station?
I'm not fully on the Trump train yet
No,
because
I'm just asking you, are you at the station?
I can't really commit to that.
Are you kidding me? I am.
I'm
Hey, Tom.
going to give it a little more time.
Tom,
But
I got two questions.
yes,
Are you busier now than when Obama was in office? Yes or no? No, yes
well,
or no?
No,
No. So you're less busy than when Obama was in office?
no.
Okay. So
I've
you're-
always
you're-
been busy.
No, but that's not what I'm asking. Listen to the question. Are you more busy? Do you have more work now than when Obama was in office? Yes or no?
Is there more work available to be had? The answer is yes.
Okay.
But for me, and just like you've always been busy because you always run yourself to the max.
Exactly.
Right?
Okay, I got that.
So you
I'll
understand
agree.
what I'm saying.
I agree with that.
So there's more work available.
There's plenty of work available. There's not enough workers.
Are you paying less federal tax than you've paid under Obama that you've seen?
Yeah, well, I'll know by the end of the year.
Okay.
Yes.
But as
So
of right now,
I would imagine that I'm going to be paying less.
Okay.
I mean, the way it's looking right now, that looks to be the case.
okay. And I mean that's two things right there. And that's just scratching the surface.
I am not disappointed that we have Donald Trump. I'm
I got you.
happy
I
that we
understand.
have Donald Trump and not Queen Jezebel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's true. I mean that's a
Yes.
good way to put it too. I guess.
I
So-
just I'm not happy with some of the international things that I see happening, but at the same time, and you talked about it earlier, turning the big ship with a little stern, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I would say it's physically impossible for the man to be, handling everything. It's a huge job. So, but I was saying he's doing a heck of a job. He's getting results big time, and he is an expert at playing the game. He played those Democrats like violins in this last Kavanaugh deal. Yeah, I thought it was beautiful.
Well, he's getting them to show what's going on.
Yes.
I mean, with their true colors
True
for
colors.
How did we get off on there?
I don't know, but I
Donald
want to
Trump?
go back. You guys were saying
Okay.
what it takes to run for sheriff, so I Googled it.
Oh,
There's a
great.
website called Running for Sheriff Info.
Runningforsheriff.com.
Yeah, and they explain some minimum qualifications of running for sheriff, and they do it broadly because it varies depending on the area, your jurisdiction. But it only refers to certain professional certifications. But it does say certified law enforcement officer or law enforcement experience. But I found something very interesting at the bottom of the list. It
You gotta
says,
really, really, really want to be sheriff.
nope. It says, get this requirement for running for sheriff: a thick skin. Sheriff campaigns are notorious for being nasty affairs. Personal attacks on family, ethics, business, and personal matters are the norm. If you can't take attacks on yourself or your family, you may want to consider being a candidate. Wow.
Yeah.
Is
So-
that not some good advice?
Coming out and saying that you've been bullied is
Or
not
battered.
for running for sheriff. Is
Either
not a
one
good
of
thing.
those terms, not a good term to use if you're a sheriff candidate that you've
Yes.
been bullied or battered.
Now there are a few men out there that have been battered. I have to say that. Okay, but
have you
they
ever wanna-
are.
Have they?
Have
yes.
you ever heard one of them say that I've been battered
No.
or that I just had my
No.
butt kicked?
They may have been
But-
battered, but they would never say they've been battered.
Yes, but those guys, you know, I just my respect level for the battered man is pretty low. That's all I can say. Okay. But I will confess that I believe there are a few battered men out there.
Honey, you need to cut and paste that, and we got to throw it up on the Facebook page, and then I'm going to, you know where I'm going with it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I
So-
told him I wouldn't pick on him anymore. I wasn't going to bully Houck anymore. But guess what? One more time. Just one more, and then I'm done. That's it. I'm done.
Just so you know, anything that does get posted, there are so many more opportunities that get passed by because I say, no, you can't post that.
You would not believe how many times I have written comments.
I'm like, no, you can't post
or
that.
and deleted them, or got a posting ready to go, and then Tammy reads it. She goes,
Yeah, I veto.
you're done.
I veto.
And so I
No,
gotta erase
no.
the whole thing, and then I go, and it's bad because I get in a rhythm in the morning, and I'm like, da 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 da, and my mind just wanders and weaves around, and it's awesome. And I think, man, this is gonna be good. And she's like, no.
So the sheriff thing says you got to have some kind of credential. Okay.
Go take your PC 832. It's like an 8-hour-long class.
I'm going to get my credential from the University of Baklava. Or there you go.
Baklava.
Or
Or Barakwa.
Barakwa. Yes.
Because if you're talking about baklava,
This is outrageous. Where are the armed men who come in to take the protesters away? Where are they? This kind of behavior is never tolerated in Boracua. You shout like that, they put you in jail right away. No trial, no nothing. Journalists, we have a special jail for journalists. You're stealing, right to jail. You're playing music too loud, right to jail, right away. You're driving too fast, jail. Slow, jail. You're charging too high prices for sweaters, glasses. You right to jail. You undercook fish, believe it or not, jail. You overcook chicken, also jail. Undercook, overcook. You make an appointment with the dentist and you don't show up, believe it or not, jail, right away. We have the best patients in the world.
Well, there you go. That's what I meant. Not
Okay.
baklava,
Yeah,
Barakwa. I
Barakwa.
want my credential from Barakwa because I want to be running a program like
A
that.
jail system.
Gee minutely. Okay.
I know baklava is something you eat, right?
Yes.
He doesn't want to live in a police state. He wants to be the
I
police
want to
state.
run the police state.
Do you know
I don't care if I live in a
baklava?
police state, as long as I run it.
Can we just talk about baklava for just a second?
Yes, it's a kind of a flaky
is-
pastry, isn't it?
Yes, it is just a lot of butter and phyllo and walnuts and butter and butter and
And
butter.
yumminess. Yumminess.
Well, I don't know if it's. I've had it. I don't think it's as good as those cookies I had yesterday from the old. What's that place?
New Earth.
New Earth.
Nothing is as good as the dinner that I had last night that Liz could have partook in, but she stood us up.
Yeah.
She was a no-show. We had fresh caught fish. They were swimming around in the morning. They were on our dinner plate at night. And man, that was good.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That does
Parmesan
sound good.
crusted, fried in the pan. So good.
Oh,
We had
I'd eat a dead
we had
cat if it was deep
asparagus.
fried.
I had a cream of asparagus rice. And I had the best, speaking of butter, buttery Chardonnay from Cordy Winery. Oh my gosh. Their Chardonnay is amazing.
What about the bottle of wine from Dave Shaw?
I was going to have that, but you didn't show up. I still was wanting to have that wine, but we were having fish. And so
And it's red.
it's red.
Was that wine Thunderbird or MD 2020?
No, it was from the Castello
Just a
de
big box.
Amore.
I don't know what kind it was. Just a big white box.
The castle in Calistoga. It's from the Castle Winery in Calistoga.
No, it was a good bottle of wine.
Oh, and I can't wait for it. I'm so excited.
I drove through the Napa Valley last Saturday. It was beautiful. That is a beautiful drive, guys.
Our favorite winery is not too far from
California.
that castle.
Right across the street.
California
Valentine.
is beautiful
It is.
country, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a communist country.
It definitely is communist. But it
You
is
know
beautiful.
what? California is perfect.
California.
I'll be right back.
Yes, but it is.
She has been mismanaged.
Yes. So let's talk about. Are we done talking about
Reusser?
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 Yeah, you don't like him. And,
I don't like him. I don't trust him.
He's not qualified.
He doesn't have his credential, or he did get one, but not the other. So anyway, yeah.
What about all this?
To me, it's which pickpocket do you like better?
The thing that we keep hearing about, there's no ROP, there's none of this, there's no CTE. Well, every time I talk to Val, she's showing me all these programs that are, CTE programs that they've got. They've got, nursing program, they've got welding program, they've got the ag program. Help me out. There's several of them.
Culinary.
Culinary, yes, a culinary program. There's about 6 different things that I can recall that when she goes around, she's got all these different little hats. And it's part of a display to convey all the different, opportunities that these kids get while they're in high school to have this technical training in these different various vocations. And to me, I don't see where the problem is. I don't see where the shortcoming is.
Well, next Thursday night, October 11th, Dr. Dillon is hosting a forum at Boyd Hall at 6 o'clock. And I'm just telling people, if you got a question, show up.
Hey, remind me, and I'm going to go to that.
You are?
Yes.
They're afraid.
It's October 11th at 6 p.m., Boyd Hall, 1895 Lassen. Also, you should go to that Boyd Hall 2 days in a row because on Wednesday, the 10th, is going to be the City Council Candidates Forum put on by Chamber of Commerce and Appeal Democrat. I was thinking of not doing my class and going to that, but I think what I'll do is we don't both have to go. You can go and I'll do my class.
Okay. I want to play this for Reusser real quick. I had it queued up and I had to run.
And take care of business?
Yeah.
Since Daddy had to fly.
Yep.
And if that song goes on and says, since Daddy had to lie.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I like the Poisoned by the Fairy Tales.
Yeah.
That's what I really like, is Poisoned by the Fairy Tale.
There's a lot of that going on. Poisoned by Fairy Tale.
Big time.
So-
Hey, let's talk about Yes on 6. Let's all vote yes on 6.
Repeal the gas tax.
I got my DMV fee on another one of my trucks, $1,000.
So
Good grief, man!
check it out.
Wow.
Yes on 6. If you feel like you want to support the roads, send them a check. Send them $1,000 out of your own pocket. Don't make us all do this. This is ridiculous. I'm voting yes because guess what? It's my money. I'll drive on crappy roads. So what?
Hey,
the money's there. They should have fixed them already. They didn't, and they're putting it on our backs to pay the bill.
They're putting that money into the welfare program, man. Cut
Exactly.
welfare. I mean, is anybody out there sick of welfare? I am.
I am.
Yeah.
It comes in multiple shapes and forms too, folks. It's not just the welfare program. Okay? I'm going to rant for just 1 second.
Okay.
There should be no 30-year-old single male sitting at home on welfare. Sorry, should never happen. If they're that lazy or they're that broken up, there's a bridge. That's the way it is. There's a bridge they can live under. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought you meant a bridge you can jump off of.
either way, either or. But the fact is there should be no. I'm so sick of it seeing this.
I'm with you, Jason.
A 30-year-old guy sitting at home going, well, I'm on welfare because, I don't have. You have no mouths to feed other than your own. I don't care. I could care less. Go figure something out. Go down to the river, kill a squirrel. Do something. Go catch a chicken.
Yeah.
Squirrel
We
and
have plenty of them.
Yeah.
Chicken and dumplings, squirrel and dumplings, really don't care.
I got to go back to the Bible, man. If a man doesn't work, neither shall he eat.
Exactly.
So there it is.
I'm just sick of it. I am dead sick of it. I understand a lady, something happens. You know what? I can deal with that for a month or 2, 6 months, whatever. Great. But a single male between the ages of 18 and 45 or 50, come on. Give me a freaking break.
Yes, but even the woman, okay, it's not the government's position to take money from this man and give it to this woman.
And it's not about taking it from that guy. It's about putting a gun to your head, saying if you don't pay the taxes, we're going to do harm to you.
Yes.
We're either going to put you in jail or we're going to take the money from your wage and we're going to give it to somebody else.
Yes.
It's robbery.
It's robbery. There you go. It's a threat. You're under threat of robbery all the time.
And
Extortion.
Just so you know, Jason is 33% disabled.
Oh, come on, honey. Give me a break.
Well, and here's the thing is you could have accepted that, oh, okay, I'll just be on disability for the rest of my life because I don't really have any huge ambitions. This is good enough for me. I got some money coming in.
That is a true
this
story.
Is status quo.
Is the judge did make it because they went for like 29% disabled, and he goes, no, we're going to go 33, and that made no never mind to me. But then my attorney turned around after the fact. Long story. Don't want to get into it. But the attorney turned around after the fact and goes, you're set. You don't have to work again. Being 33% disabled, that's the breaking point to where you do not need to work anymore. Give me a break. I've had the best life out of about anybody that I know because I get out and do what it takes to get it done, and I have a very, very good life. Not the life I would have had if I would have went and took the cereal box Cracker Jack prize and said, okay, I get my 33% disability.
That never even crossed your mind.
No,
not even. And he lives with pain in his knees. He's going to have his knees replaced at some point in time, but he doesn't prevent him from working.
Yeah.
Doesn't prevent me from having a party every day.
My knee hurts and my back hurts, but you know what? I know I got to put mud on the wall tomorrow, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will be there, and I'll put the mud on.
Yep.
Do what it takes.
So
I don't know. It really irritates me whenever I see these guys that are looking for a handout. Anyways, yes on 6.
Yeah. Don't believe the lies on the radio on Proposition 6.
Because if they're not spending what they have wisely, they are not being good stewards of our taxpayer money. They're not being good stewards of the taxes to begin with, so why give them more to be wasteful with?
Yeah. Well,
You're being irresponsible.
I'm going to see how this turns out. If the people in California are stupid enough to keep giving more and more, okay, and actually to vote to give more, I just don't know what I'm going to do after that.
But the problem is, Tom, is how many people are voting to give themselves more is what they're looking at. Because, Caltrans handing out the flyers, they were voting to give themselves more.
That's a fact.
The teachers' unions behind that, they're voting to give themselves more.
Yes.
Everybody who is behind that is voting to help give themselves more. So are there more of the state employed and federal employed and local jurisdiction employed that are going to be voting? Or are there more of private citizens that are going to be voting that work for themselves or work for a private company?
Yeah. Well,
because that's what's going to decide.
Yeah. I hope that there's more private individuals out there that will vote the right way.
Me too.
But if it goes the other way, then I'm just gonna.
Idaho's looking pretty good.
I'm just gonna shake my head. I don't know. It might send me over the edge. I just don't know. We'll see.
Well, and that's the thing is, we're going to have to wait and see. I'm not ready to move to Idaho yet. I love California. I love it here.
Me neither. I'm not moving to Idaho.
I just love it.
So on the U.S. Senator race, Di-Fi, or what's the guy's name? Leon?
Kevin Leon, but he wants his name a little sexier, so it's Kevin Day Leon.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to call
just
him
like your
Day.
Thomas Day Burns.
Look,
I'm not going down that road, man.
I heard what
I'm going to
Lou
vote
said.
for Di-Fi. Can you believe that?
No. After what she did to Kavanaugh,
Well, who can I vote for?
You got to vote for Leon.
I'm hoping Di-Fi cashes in her final chips.
And check it out. That's what I'm saying, because then, look, here's the deal. You vote for Leon. Neon Leon. Anyways, you vote for Neon, and he wins. You've got him. You're stuck.
Nope, just for 4 years.
But wait. You vote for Di-Fi, and something happens, and she's old. she's old. She's older than dirt. Something happens, and Cox wins. Cox appoints the new person. Do you think he'll vote? Do you think he'll nominate or put in Leon or Neon Leon?
I think that Di-Fi she does not have blood. She is totally embalmed with formaldehyde. She will
Antifreeze.
exist
gotta-
forever.
You got to start using the term leaky Di-Fi. Right?
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying I am not going to vote for
I
Di-Fi.
absolutely could not cast a vote for Di-Fi. Not in my.
So we would have
Genes to do that.
I guess we would have to just abstain.
I'm voting for.
I'm gonna have to
I'm
vote for
voting
the
for De
Republican.
Leon.
I'm not. The guy wants my weapons worse than you can possibly
Jason-
fathom.
We've got two people because the state of California there was so stupid. We should have never gone for the top two. But that's what we've got.
Yeah. So we're split. We're split here amongst this.
We are.
group
We're
here.
split right down the
I'm
middle
gonna
because
have-
I cannot.
I'm gonna have to vote for Di-Fi and hope she dies. Oh, did I say that? Oh yes, I did say that. Yes.
Well, one more time, I want to mention that Steve Frank is over at our headquarters, and we will be there shortly after we are done here. We're going to head over to the headquarters, 441 Bridge Street. So come out and meet Steve Frank. He's running for the GOP chairman spot, and come see what he has to say and hang out at our awesome place over there. It's like the place to be to party.
Yes.
It's the party.
It's
the party spot.
It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon too.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh-oh.
we could just chill a little bit.
Yeah, we'll put on some music and
Yeah.
put out some snacks and
I'd like to hear what he has to say for sure.
Yeah.
So he's looking to replace Jim Brulte or
Yes.
yeah. So that's good.
yeah, it's time for
We
changing
need,
of the guards.
Yeah.
Let's change the guards somewhat. And also, don't forget, we need to mention this. We are promoting the write-in campaign for John Mistler.
Yeah. Tell your story. Tell
so,
your story.
just so y'all are clear,
Y'all.
it is a write-in campaign. So some of you have received your sample ballots, and you may have noticed, his name's not there. How am I supposed to vote for him? I can't vote for him. His name's not there. Okay, that's why it's called a write-in campaign. His name will not be on your ballot. You're going to have to remember when you go to the poll or when you fill out your vote by mail, you need to remember to write it in on the line. Mistler. 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 Mistler.
Can we get a little cheer for Mistler?
Well, her cheer is different than my cheer.
Yeah.
My cheer was M-I-M-I-S-M-I-S-T-L-E-R, M-I-M-I-S-M-I-S-T-L-E-R.
Woohoo.
Go, John!
Good.
John
See? Hey, I like.
Mistler.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Woohoo.
So
You know
I
what?
wasn't even aware of that. Now, if you write, do they leave a blank space for a write-in, and then you got to check
Yes.
the box too? Then, right?
Yes, you have to fill in the box and write in the name.
Right.
But his
Okay.
name is not going to be on the ballot.
Right.
No,
Hence
his name
the
will
idea
not
of
be on the
write
ballot.
in.
Yes.
Yes, you do
So,
have to
I'm
write
glad
it
you-
in
I'm-
for the win.
I'm glad you clarified that. And then you got to mark a little box there,
Yep.
so they'll pick it up electronically, I guess.
Yes. So very important, folks. You will not see his name on your ballot. You do have to write it in. You can vote for Mistler. He is a filed write-in candidate. He is eligible to be your next Yuba County Supervisor in District 5. So please write in his name on your ballot.
Now, earlier I talked about the deficit and the interest on the debt, the United States debt. So, you know, when you're looking for something in an article, you can't usually find it when you're under the gun. But here it is. It says the Treasury reported Thursday that the government paid $523 billion in interest in fiscal 2018, the most on record.
One more time. 500.
and 28 billion with a B, like boy, in interest. So that right there tells you how great a job,
Oh, man.
right?
Yeah.
So that interest is paid to the Federal Reserve banks. Gotta love it, huh?
Wow. What a racket.
What a racket. So these people in government want more of our money and more and more and more. And this, I mean, in my lifetime, I don't ever, since I started paying attention, remember that we didn't have to pay big interest. That's a lot of dough.
All right. So we're having very, very few opportunities left in this campaign season to come out and enjoy an awesome party at the headquarters. So come out today. Come out now to the headquarters to see Steve Frank. Then the next event is Friday at 7 o'clock. We're going to have a fundraising event for Mike Ziegemeyer, running for Sutter County District 3.
Supervisor.
Sutter County Supervisor, yes. So come out and support Mike Ziegemeyer. That will be our last Friday night event, and then we only have 2 more events after that. We have an event on the 25th, an all candidates event at 7 p.m. It's going to be immediately following our regular meeting of the month. We have a meeting for the Yuba Sutter Constitutional Republicans. Meets the 4th Thursday of every month at 6 o'clock. We're going to have a meeting at 7, or a party at 7 right after the meeting.
And we're going to have on election night too, won't we?
Election night we're going to have, and
Big bash.
watching the election results come in. We're going to be streaming it on our big screen, and we're just going to be hanging out and having a good time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're going to have a good time no matter what the results are.
Yes.
And if they are illegal laws that they pass or try to pass on us, I believe in non-compliance.
We will not comply.
The people will not comply. We're going to live under the supreme law of the land, the United States Constitution.
The United States
Yes,
Constitution.
yes. And we're going to practice our freedom of speech, right? So hopefully we won't see the day like they did, like the people saw in under communism in the USSR, where they came in and immediately the communists murdered every school teacher, every doctor, and everybody in political office. They murdered them all. That's how the program goes, right?
Yeah.
So we don't want to forget that. And in communist China, I'm sure we've all seen that picture of the woman being hauled out to the wall to get the firing squad. There's some reality shots for you on communism.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, have a good weekend and a good rest of the weekend and a good week. And we'll see you next Sunday at 1. Well, I guess we won't see you, but we'll be back next Sunday at 1 live again. So everybody have a great week.